are now live.
Are we?
Live.
Cool.
Yes, we are. How are you doing?
Good.
You were just saying this is so much more legit than last time we did this.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny you say that.
It feels more legit. I don't know if the last
Yeah, tell me why.
It might be the sound things. I don't know if I've actually done a podcast with you since you put them up.
I don't think you have. You definitely haven't, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. The door's closed this time.
Yeah. I might get more. How else could I spruce up the space and make it better? More engaging.
Plants.
Plants?
Yeah. Not even kidding. I think having, like, I don't know what it's like when you have actual guests here, but if your desk were to be cleared off and you had unique objects or something, or like the next time we travel, is this close enough to me?
Well, don't grab it by that thing. You gotta touch this. People come in and I try to show them and they don't get it. Connor didn't get it. Hold on. So, understand that this thing comes out. So all the leverage is on that little post. So you don't want to rock this around. You want to make sure this stays taut and you're not putting weight against this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've explained this to me before.
Okay.
I'm asking if it's just, if it's...
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's good. Get some unique objects next time we travel somewhere.
Oh, yeah, and put them over there. I'm sorry if I just...
You're fine. Yeah, I don't like this whole dealio.
Can we do this?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, can you do this? It's your fucking wine.
I said we.
The wine somersault over the glass. You just did that.
I know.
It's a thing of beauty.
Guess so.
What would I get? What would we get that would go on this table?
I don't know. Something meaningful to you? Or something that's just a good story?
I could have that deer antler sitting there.
Maybe.
That's actually pretty smart because
They're
it's an
conversation pieces.
yes. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. I think having better lighting in here would be nice too.
Yeah. I talked to
Homey.
I'm like backlighting. So it's not like all shadows back here, which I should probably do.
Yeah. I don't think the quality is bad though.
No, it's funny. It looks good in the camera, but when it gets fed through the streaming software, the quality gets screwed up. So like on YouTube, it doesn't look that great.
That makes sense.
So even though it looks nice in the camera, it doesn't get translated. So I don't know how to fix that though, and I'm not techie enough in that realm to like.
I don't know if you can. Well, you probably could.
Yeah, no, I definitely could, and I could go deep into that kind of thing and figure it out. It's not something I want to invest my time in though.
That's
It's
fair.
really not.
Hey, I have a question.
Fine, I'll take your question now.
What did you write about me in the bio?
Oh. Nothing really. I used everything you wrote. I just rearranged some things.
What did you say? I wanna hear it. Can you show me?
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, get this
I'm
beautiful
curious.
pour noise. I don't think it took. Next time.
What?
You know, like a Bud Light commercial? They like crack the can and you like hear the pour.
Yeah.
Or like Michelob, like that noise. I probably didn't pick it up though. Your bio, yes. Actually, I don't know if I can edit it while it's live.
I don't want you to edit it. I'm just curious.
No, to pull it up. I can't see it right now.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I always get a email when I go live. As if I don't know I'm live. Like, these are the default things. YouTube, now live on your channel. Like, shit, I'm right here. Why is that the default notification? There could be so many other things to, like, let me know of. Stupid. It's not showing up here either. So I guess you'll just have to wait. I'll tell you what I wrote.
Thank you.
I wrote pending PhD candidate studying.
Wow, the right words too.
Studying. Oh yeah, no, I know. Because I know you're like, you can't say pursuing because you're not like, you haven't started it yet.
Right.
But you're pending. You're a pending candidate. Like.
Yeah.
When you're a PhD candidate, you're studying for it, right?
A candidate means that you're accepted into a program and you're like earning the degree. Like you're a candidate to earn the PhD. Yeah. Pending to me is more like you have to get into a school, which is where I'm at.
Well, you're pending doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
So that's. I thought I got that right.
Pending PhD
Apparently
candidate.
I fucking nailed it.
Pending PhD candidate. What am I studying? Can you tell me? Because I don't know yet.
Positive psychology, human behavior, and relationships. Those are the 3 things you wrote
I am
that you're interested in.
fascinated in all of those things.
And I would be hard pressed to imagine any kind of you studying something that didn't involve those 3 things in one way or another.
Yeah, they're broad enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why you wrote them in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
they're your words. So I'm sure you'll study something along those lines. So that's what I wrote. And then I wrote you currently work at what you wrote, Syracuse University, Lerner Center for Public Health Promotion.
Nothing else?
No, I trimmed out the rest of it. It's just like short and to the point.
That's not very interesting, though. You know, like people aren't going to want to.
Look, people don't read the description like, should I listen to this? Like,
no, you give a brief intro before the podcast starts, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, not on YouTube, but YouTube are just live.
Excuse me.
Feels so alive.
I need to become more interesting. I feel like this is a good indicator. If it needs more
What's
than
a good
2
indicator?
or 3 sentences for someone to be like, you're interesting and you're worth my time, or you're not, like, this is a good, like, benchmark.
Oh, yeah, you definitely want like a 1-2 punch.
I
But,
don't
like,
have that.
I mean, you do, though. Like, you're like a pending PhD candidate.
For a lot of people. Like, I'm thinking about going to school. I'm talking to people about it.
Oh, see, in my mind, like, you are doing it.
Oh, I feel the same way, but I'm playing devil's advocate. Like, I'm...
Why?
for
It's
the
like,
sake of a
it's...
conversation?
Yeah. I think it's popular to say, oh, I'm going to go back to school. I'm thinking about going back to school for that. Like this or that. Like,
Nah, I got a deadline.
in those, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So...
No, I know it's real. I know it takes up enough of my time.
But I feel like it's a thing to say when you see people from high school or that kind of thing, and you like see them at a bar or something, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?" Like, "Oh, I'm thinking about going back to school." Like,
I know
is that a thing people do? Like, they just say that to
Yeah.
seem impressive or like that kind of thing? Not even seem impressive, just like
filler, I guess.
Yeah.
Like not genuine at all.
To try to make a more positive impression in the other person's mind on one's own situation by saying you're going back to school for something that you're really not.
Yeah, thinking about going back to school.
It's like, okay.
I was at that point once though. Remember when I almost matriculated into the higher ed program?
I do remember that. Read a bit of trickery.
That would have been a bad time.
Read a bit of trickery, Eastern Japanese dog. Yeah. I mean, it's happening. It just hasn't started yet. Like, you do a lot of stuff. Like with the Mind Body Lab. I don't know. You have your hands dipped in a lot of things. I've told you before that you're making the very most out of your situation at SU.
Oh, for
and like
sure.
taking full advantage of having such a wide variety of resources at your disposal there.
Would you
like
not?
to get in, and not even like to be able to take a class like kind of just the obvious like fall in your lap kind of thing almost, but that you got in touch with Josh at the Mind Body Lab and like went out of your way to get involved in all this extra shit that just you're interested in because that's what you want to like study and involve yourself with for the rest of your life because that's what you're passionate about, which is really cool because it shows like you're not just talking about going back to school. Like you're putting your money where your mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting your more than your money where your mouth is. You're putting your time where your mouth is. Fucking time.
Yeah, but it's all good. I enjoy it. I really like the Mind Body Lab.
I know you do. I think it's awesome.
It's so cool for me to get such a wide array of experiences and exposure to different types of methodologies. It has been one of the most valuable things because it's so different. Like Adam's dissertation is on a single case
Single case study?
Single study case.
Okay. And that's essentially what I said earlier, like n equals 1, like just in a single situation.
It's a very small group of people.
Because it's more than one person. So.
Yes, it's a small group of people, but you're studying each person's behavior at certain time periods.
Oh, okay.
So like each person's behavior are
I see. I was thinking of it on like an individual level before.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it's a single thing, but it's in a group setting. It's like a single group. Like that's the single case study part of it, right?
No, I don't know enough about it. I don't even know if that's the correct name. I can picture I understand it and how Josh explained it to us, but I cannot regurgitate it. So I'm sorry. But
you could try.
No. I'm just gonna butcher it and then
who cares?
It's not no. That's not even my point.
Make a point.
What is happening in the Mind Body Lab? The observational applied research.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing direct observation, and it's intervention research, so it's all applied research versus basic, which is what Shannon does. Stop. So, like, Adam and Josh has to coordinate, like, the logistics of, like, there are so many factors that play into Adam's dissertation. It is actually, and they're all out of his control. Whether the kids in school or not are sick on a day that we're supposed to collect data on him or her. What the teachers are doing during that time period. We got screwed over on Friday because it was the day before their break and Valentine's Day, so teachers were playing movies, and you can't do direct observation when there's like no real like task. It's not good data. So
I'm sure.
We didn't observe kids in the last 2 periods we were supposed to. But, like, that's just one thing that, like, teachers switched their plans, so Adam's been having to reschedule. Like, just the logistics of it are nuts. And then that's, like, just the school side, and then he has to be able to train committed RAs to go out to the school to do the direct observation. And just, there were only 3 of us this week that went out there. We did all of it.
Wow.
Which, like, I'm happy to do it if my schedule allows, but it just, half the RAs didn't even respond to his emails. Just so many factors.
That sucks.
It's crazy. It's that type of research, though.
So, what is the study again? Can you explain it?
So, Josh wrote a book for a mindfulness-based intervention called Soles of the Feet.
Soles of the Feet.
Mm-hmm.
OUL?
So, like, you ground yourself, like, in the present by, like, the soles of your feet first, and then it's a mindfulness exercise. I've never done it before, but I'm pretty sure it's, like, a more or less like a body scan. So, he published, like, that's his, it's, like, similar to a theory. It's, like, his thing, and it's a big deal. So, from what I understand anyway. So Adam is using the soles of the feet intervention to test on and off task behavior in self-contained special education classes at a Syracuse City school, middle school. So on and off task has to be operationalized and objectified for the research assistants to know exactly what behavior is on or off task so we can mark him.
Okay.
So there's different criterion for on and off task behavior, which I won't have to get into, I don't think. And then during our observation period, they're 20 minutes each. It's supposed to be 20 consecutive minutes of observation, but that doesn't always happen. The 20 minutes is split into 15-second intervals. So there's 75 15-second intervals.
Okay.
And that's what you're measuring. So I guess for every 15 seconds, you're observing the kid to see if he's on or off task. If he engages in one off-task behavior, if he engages in one active off-task behavior, like getting out of his chair, verbalizing, yelling, swearing, whatever, not task-related, he gets automatically marked off task, and you don't observe him for the rest of the period. And then you wait until the second interval starts, and it's like a clean slate, so you start again. Okay.
The next 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So during these observations, I've been with a partner for inner observational reliability. Words aren't coming to me today. Probably the wine. So I've had a buzzer on my hip that's set to buzz every 15 seconds, so I don't have to keep track of time and observe the kid.
Nice.
So super helpful.
Convenience.
So I've been doing this with a partner, and we're observing the same kid, and we're checking to see if we have the same observation for that time period. Also, there's a random number of times that instead of for that 15-second interval, you're not observing the kid in the study, you're observing one of his peers to do a random comparison of, like, is the whole class off task for the entire time, or is it just the kid?
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's coordinating with your partner who the next peer you're going to observe is, because that will change based off of the classroom and whatever. Making sure you're on the right interval, because only I have the buzzer, and making sure that we are on the same page as far as, like, our operational definitions of on and off task. So if she's like, that was off task, I'm like, I don't know, it was 2.5 seconds, I didn't get to 3, that's a criterion. She's like, no, it was off. I'm like, okay, I'll mark it off. Like, just so we're on the same page, we can, like, talk through it.
Check each other?
Yeah.
That's cool. What have you learned?
It's more just not anything specific, because I'm learning everything. This is a brand new experience for me. Doing this type of research is new to me. Being in the middle school and watching some of these kids' behavior in the classroom, and it's just nuts. It's a different world.
How so?
And it's so sobering. Kids throwing chairs, screaming.
Throwing chairs?
Yeah.
Yo, who the fuck's throwing chairs?
Special education kids in a Syracuse City school.
Like, at each other?
Yeah, not like threatening, like over the head, like, it was like, I think it was meant to be playful. He, like, slid it across the desk.
Oh, alright. Wait, so it was on a desk? Not on the ground?
It was on the ground, he picked it up and, like, slid it across the desk.
I'm picturing, like shop class, you have the derby cars, you put the CO2 tank in. Like, just put them on the track, let them go. Just put this chair on this desk. Just chuck it, see how far it goes.
Yeah.
See how far across the room.
Dude, you have no idea. It's crazy. It's a different fucking world.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I can't imagine. I only hear things.
I've never felt like I was in danger once. There's flies on the wall. But it's been nice, I guess, to be around kids in a weird way. And to see the teachers' interactions with the kids. Like, there are some, like, the kids are all troubled in some way, most of them. So it's cool to see them connect with another adult and just to watch that, like, nurturing relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had on the Y with my kids, as much as I did not like that job. I love those kids. I've missed that. It's funny because I was really looking forward to working with adults once I quit the Y.
Right.
And now that I'm working with adults, I'm like, I kind of want to go back
kids
to
are cool, though.
I kind of want to go back to kids. I don't know. I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry. You go.
I've been asking you questions. This isn't like a you go, now it's my turn. No, shut up, now it's me. Okay, now it's your turn. Just like, whatever. I feel like you do say that sometimes, though. I've been talking a lot. I feel like I've heard you say that before. When just, we're sitting on the couch.
I probably said
I'm
that.
sorry, I just talked a lot.
I probably said that today.
I don't remember.
I talk a lot. I don't know.
You do. I like that you talk a lot, though. You're fun to talk to.
Well, sometimes you have to talk.
And you have interesting things to say. No, you are very interesting. Yes, tell me more. Tell me more about the women from work.
Oh, I just got
Yes, I agree.
You are very smart and beautiful. Oh, funny.
You just what?
I just remember that De-Stress for Success starts on Monday.
What does that entail?
I'm doing it at SU and Upstate, so I'm gonna have to hightail it. That's gonna be
Meditation class?
No, the positive psychology workshops.
Oh.
They're starting on Monday.
The workshops you're doing? The one I sat in on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remembered I was being filmed.
That moment when you make it trying to get this fart out face and you realize you're being filmed.
Thanks for verbalizing it for the people
Oh,
who are
come
listening.
on. Come on. Don't be like that. I like that I have context into those things. Like that I came and sat in on that class.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's way more legitimate this year, though.
How
this
so?
semester. The health promotions department created a wellness leadership initiative. So it's essentially a large series of drop-in workshops happening from February till March. And the De-Stress for Success series is a part of that. So all of our marketing has been through and associated with their tag of Be Well SU, which is the main thing that students like follow and whatever.
Okay.
It's like the lifestyle center for Oswego.
All right.
It's like the equivalent.
You have the bag.
Yes.
Blue bag.
Yes.
Or is it purple? It's purple bag.
It's navy.
Damn it.
Close.
What was it say again?
Peeling good.
Peeling good.
The water bottle I use for
Peeling
work is
good
Peeling
in the
Good, too.
neighborhood.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that it will be more successful this year.
So they've been advertising their classes. Like
Yeah.
what other? So in addition to, not class, what'd you call it? Workshop. In addition to your workshops, what other kinds of things do they advertise? Like what other events like that?
Well, the leadership initiative is only drop-in workshops, so it's just a bunch of different workshops on different topics related to all the dimensions of wellness.
But like, does Be Well SU put out a events calendar with like sex ed class and
I think so.
like and all this other stuff that you're amongst, like it's being promoted internally like that, where it's a part of their stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's definitely getting more people are going to be aware of it.
For sure. Right.
Unbelievable. So rude. That's cool. You must be excited then. More likely going to get a better turnout. Rather than just the who are the
peer educators?
Yes. They were nice.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with them.
You just want more like
I want more student engagement.
civilian, like regular Joe.
Yeah.
Not.
That's like I've never heard of positive psychology, and this is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's extreme.
That's ideal though, for people to be like,
of course.
whoa, there's something on the other side of this coin. It's not just I have the potential to really be happy. Yeah. You do.
Wow. Life isn't just a endless fucking treadmill. Yeah, I mean that's definitely would be the coolest dream experience, right? But realistically, somebody's probably gonna have heard of positive psych before they come in and like Googled it, or maybe not even positive psych, but some kind of something online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I don't know if
Especially with students
I
now.
mean, based off of the
age-wise.
topic, yeah. Based off of the topics, probably. I mean, I'd be shocked if, like, so this one on Monday is cultivating resilience with positive emotion. So I'm going through, like, our negativity bias as humans because of how our brain's wired.
Scarcity.
And then going through the process of feeling an emotion. It's Barbara Fredrickson's theory. And then from there going to how, like, essentially then her theory of the broaden and build theory of positive emotion. How positive emotion helps to broaden our thought action repertoires, boost our creativity, boost our, like, problem solving skills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good for our minds.
Absolutely.
Helps us build resilience. And then creates a spiral because that breeds more positive emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
then,
fucking cool.
Oh, I also go through the 10 positive emotions and what they are, what they feel like the context in which you would feel it, the tendency, like the action associated with the emotion, and then the outcome of feeling that emotion. I don't have that all memorized for all 10 of them, but I have notes. So that's before. And then I'll do the broaden and build theory. Go into a little bit about resilience. And then go into mindset. Tomorrow's the longest one. Just about. I feel like I just talked a lot again.
You did. Because I asked you a question. You answered it very well. That's a good thing. Give me a high five.
Yeah.
You're going to leave me hanging? Come on. That's rude. Can't leave the host hanging.
Yeah, I can.
Fair. I think it's cool as shit that you teach that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that you, again, just, like, made the most of your job. Because if you built that opportunity. You made that from nothing.
I just made the program. It's like,
Well,
I'm just going to do this. Because I want to.
It's incredible. Like, I don't know.
That's what I want to do.
I know.
That's like, so I love school and I love the classroom, and I had a really positive experience when I was in college, and I want to continue that cycle, right? The reciprocity. So I've been wanting to be a professor since I was in undergrad for years and years. Because again, I like the classroom. I like that atmosphere anyway. But at the end of the day, I'm just, like, talking with humans about how to better themselves and, like, how to get the most out of every minute of life. And, like, stuff that is genuinely wicked cool and should be important to everyone.
I think it's important for everyone.
Yeah. So it's like, I could do that shit, like, create experiences for people via PowerPoint or anything else, and then go do it. Like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. It could be in a classroom. It could not be. I would like to teach and have experience doing that, for sure. I don't know if I could do it for the next 40 years.
Teach those stuff.
Teach in general. It sucks a lot of my energy.
But you want to involve yourself in that work.
Yeah. Well,
I think
teaching it, yeah. But I also like research.
Mm-hmm. No. I meant, like, involved in that field of study.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I think that's, like I said earlier, you're just putting your time where your mouth is. Your money where your mouth is. Your time where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Yes, I had it right. But I don't know. I just think that speaks volumes about you.
Sorry.
Here I am trying to give you this elegant compliment, and you're just burping up like a 45-year-old man with a beer gut.
You know,
eating potato chips. He's got potato chips just sitting in his belly.
You know what you signed up for. I'm not sorry. You know what you signed up for.
You shouldn't be.
You know what you signed up for.
I do.
Can I try this?
But I think try it. I just think it's awesome that you're actually doing it. Like, you're the real deal. You're not just thinking about going back to school.
I'm trying to be the real deal.
No, but you are. Like, but you're only not if you stop.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You realize that, right? You're only not if you stop. If you keep making the most of... You're being such a dick right now.
I'm sorry. It's really easy. It's so easy. Keep going. Stroke my ego. Come on. It's fun.
If you keep making the most out of all the opportunities you have moving forward in your life, as you're doing with this job, you're never going to stop, like, doing more of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. That's the goal. I figured that out a long time ago.
It's just awesome.
Because the opportunity that you speak of, it's just people.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. It's me bringing up positive psych at my interview at the Y, and then the woman interviewing me recommending that I go to Jamie's workshop.
Yeah.
Look who that's landed me.
Of course.
Crazy. Yeah.
But you actually have to show up and teach the class even after you've met the people and gotten the opportunity that way. Like, you still have to show up and teach the stuff and know the stuff and, like, just show up to life. Like, that's... You could argue that making the connections and doing that is the easy part. Like, you have to put in the work to actually fulfill on the back end. Like, that's just the sales part of it. You have to deliver the product.
I know what you're saying. I agree with you. It is work to get to know the people too.
And the fact that you
not for nothing
do deliver the product and do teach this stuff and have this knowledge base that you've built upon, it's... And you also make the connections. Like, it speaks volumes about you as a person, I think. Like, I've always said that, well, that's why we're getting married.
Oh, you said it.
Oh shit. I've always said that I think you can tell a lot about a person by how they spend their free time. Exactly. And I think you do a good job in your free time, generally. Like, I don't know. I feel like the marker is, can you talk about shows with people? Like shows, and even multiple shows like Game of Thrones and House of Cards and Narcos and like all this shit. And it's like, oh my God. As soon as I talk to somebody that knows a lot about shows, I'm like, really? Like, what else? You got anything else? Like, not that everybody who watches shows, it's just like, no, but man, there's so much else to do out there.
Everyone does. I know. And that's one thing that we have always felt the same way about.
Oh, man.
Like, I am down, and when I was in my adolescence, I indulged. Like, I've watched The Office, the entire series, more than once. Like, Friends, House of Cards, I binge watched. The Newsroom, great, HBO, but so good. I totally did that. But then I went to college and didn't, like, decidedly was like, I'm not having a TV in my room in college. I just didn't live with TV.
Whoa, so all of that was before college?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, I stopped watching TV when I went to college. I was like, I don't want a TV in my space.
You haven't binged on a show or anything like that then since 2014?
We watched The Mandalorian.
We did do that.
It's the only show.
Hypocritical as fuck.
The only show. Okay, it was 8 episodes. It's the only show we've ever binge watched together.
I know.
The last time.
And us binge watching it was what, 1 or 2 episodes a night?
Yeah. That's still a lot of TV for us, though.
I know it is. It's just funny but somebody's gonna hear this and be like, "Yo, I've seen all those shows and these other 5." Like,
actually, I binge watched SVU the other night.
You pull out SVU sometimes when you need to just check out.
Yeah.
But that's not you're pining for the next episode. That's just that's a different thing.
That's just stimulation.
That's a different thing. That's a purely a distraction. Like, you're not on the Untapped app looking for the next IPA to try. You're just slamming those Bud Lights because you need to just check the fuck out. You don't care about any craft beer. You don't care about hops and pairings. You just need to get shit-faced and forget what you're doing. Right? Am I right?
Usually when I'm watching SVU, that's how I feel. Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't watch a lot of TV.
We don't watch a lot of TV.
Watching SVU, we don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't know. It's just like, there's so many other things to do.
Even if you think of it, instead of watching 2 shows each night, we go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I know.
Or how about we actually cook our dinner?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's a show.
Sometimes. Sometimes we put one on, sometimes we don't. You know.
Dude, I don't know. Time is nuts.
It is nuts. It's like,
freaks me out.
There's a guy I see.
Can I have the water?
Yeah. There's a guy I see on Instagram. He lives in Syracuse. He's a photographer. He does a bunch of different kinds of photography, a bunch of landscape, bunch of portraits. Some of them people don't have a lot of clothes on. But the point being, he and also...
by people, you mean 17-year-old girls. Not really. I was joking. It's fine. I don't know.
I didn't even name him. His name's Nicola Ronaldo. I don't know how to pronounce it. Nicola Ronaldo. I think that's his name. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. Anyway, he does a lot of different kinds of photography, but he also rock climbs, and he also does a lot of skiing and snowboarding. Actually, I think he snowboards, but does photography like while skiing and snowboarding, and has some dope photos.
I bet.
Like,
that sounds wicked cool.
It's pretty sick. Not gonna lie, but like that guy, don't grab this. that guy, how many shows do you think that fucking guy watches or knows about or has binge watched? Like, I mean, I've gone through a period of time where I binge watched something. Like, a 1 week period where I just went hard on something. And the last time I did it, I was living at my parents' house. We were apart. Like,
that was not a good time.
It was fucking terrible. But it was fucking brutal. I don't know. Like,
you missed me that much.
Exactly. That was it. Played so much fucking Call of Duty, Jesus. But Jesus, I lost my train of thought. No, just how like everyone. Maybe he's gone through a period of time where he binge watched something and had like that thing, but to do that regularly and be keeping up on shows and to be able to have a conversation and talk about what's on Netflix now, what's coming out, what new season, like, what? Like,
I agree.
Holy shit. Oh my God. I even think that way about sports a lot of times now.
Yeah.
Like, I've went in and out with sports. We watched The Tribe some. But, like, even... We watched The Tribe when they first started in the spring. But, last year. But all summer, we watched, 2-3 Tribe games?
If that.
Yeah. We didn't... It wasn't on. And we watched a little bit of playoffs, too.
Yeah.
But... And I think baseball is cool for a whole different... Like, there's a lot of different sports and everything like that.
You don't have to pay attention to baseball like you would have to Game of Thrones. Like, it can be on the background, more passive, so you can be doing another activity and, like, watching baseball. You know?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's just in the same way that I talk to somebody who knows a lot about a lot of different shows. If I talk to somebody who knows a lot about like sports or hockey or baseball or football and like all these things, or like the whole fantasy thing, like all that, forget it. It's not about who knows about the sport. Maybe it's just about fantasy and like the players and the nitty gritty. And you can tell that you don't acquire that kind of knowledge unless you invest a lot of time in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, damn. There's so much other shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ways to spend
your
time.
I would rather do this podcast all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all day long. And just do it multiple times a week with more different people who...
Study things like ancient civilizations?
Yeah, just anything, though. Like...
You mentioned that earlier.
I did. But even just a guy like the Nicole Ronaldo that I described earlier. Somebody that just involves themselves in a lot of different things and doesn't, I guess, more or less default to easy things. Like shows. Like, if you're going and getting good at photography or getting good at snowboarding or doing any of this stuff, like, you have to invest time into doing that. And when you invest time into something that's difficult, you grow as a human and you become more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a lot to be said for that. And I don't know. I like doing this podcast because it's fun to have these conversations and like just do something creative and collaborative and exploratory, and I don't know, like, those
were beautiful words. I'm serious.
Thank you. I enjoy watching a stand-up special. I do. And it's funny, I gravitate more towards that and more towards South Park because it's their idea exploring things.
Yeah.
And not that shows and things aren't, and they absolutely are, and I get that people put art together in different ways as well, but to binge on things like that, it's like you're more gripped into something, like something's got you more than you've got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think another similarity would be the content of the stand-up and South Park. You can, if you're talking about like a Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, they're making jokes about things happening in real time in our society.
Yes.
So that's just contextually, like, those are more exploratory because it's more relevant, pressing, you might say.
Yeah.
And definitely controversial and emotional topics.
Absolutely.
So, and the only way to explore them is the only way to, I don't know, find out.
To further that thought.
Yeah. Yes. Is to explore it via conversation. Good conversation.
Dialogue. Productive dialogue.
Yeah. Which is what Rogan was talking about earlier. But I lost my train of thought.
It's the only way to explore those things, but they are controversial. And
oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So the content of South Park and stand-up.
yes.
Similar, which is probably more appealing to you.
Did they explore ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than, like, Game of Thrones being fictional. Like, I think Harry Potter is phenomenal because if you know enough about it, it's a really, like, it has strong political undertones as far as discrimination, the hierarchy, with, like, purebloods, half-bloods, mudbloods.
Wizards.
Squibs, like.
Squibs.
And then there's, like, creatures, too, right? So there's, like, werewolves, there's giants, there's house elves. Like, where do they fall? What are the stereotypes? There's that, and then there's, like, the whole, like, sex and gender thing of, I wrote a paper in high school about how I essentially really, really loosely examined the leadership roles in Harry Potter, based off of gender. So there was never a woman in charge of anything, except Umbridge, temporarily. She was the headmaster of Hogwarts in Book 5. McGonagall was Dumbledore's right-hand woman. Bellatrix Lestrange, Voldemort's most loyal, one of his most loyal Death Eaters. There's more, and they're Hermione and Harry. Anyway, yeah, it's like, because I'm so invested in that, if I were to talk to someone else who knew about Harry Potter, we could explore ideas about politically charged, like, controversial, relevant issues now. Like, Rogan was talking about J.K. Rowling being chastised for not making Dumbledore openly gay. Like, are you kidding me? I don't know. I fucking love Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say probably most people who watch Harry Potter, I'm guessing, are it's more of an entertainment thing than it is like an idea exploring thing.
Yeah. And I'm talking about
I'm talking
about the books, not the movies.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Well, that's another thing about reading, like, books. Like, a movie, you could digest real quick, hour and a half, like 2 hours, to get some entertainment. If you're reading a book, there's no way you're spending 10, 20, 30 hours reading literature that you're not getting some kind of lesson from, right? Like, the person who's writing that, it's so drawn out. It's not concise and condensed like a movie. Like, it's so drawn out that you almost have to put lessons and your own viewpoints on life in those pages, because it's so, you've got so many pages to fill, you know?
Well,
like, there's just so much more room that inevitably it has to get filled, and you're going to fill it with the things that you're conscious of. And that's a lot of your viewpoints and your beliefs.
So being an author is being able to write in someone else's perspective other than your own. Like, I would not assume that an author's philosophy of science, for lack of, like, reasoning of life, like, and those nuances would be portrayed in the characters or the books that they write. I think that's a bad assumption.
I think that is a bad assumption. I heard an author once, maybe on Rogan, be asked about his writing process. And it was something like and this is one person, one anecdote, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote that he'll have a concept for an idea or a character, and he starts going on that character, and then inevitably, like, things happen to that character and different people come into his life and this whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's discovering the story as he writes it.
That's cool.
Like, it's not thought out at all. It's just he's writing, he has an idea for a character or something to hang on to, like a rock, but what happens to that rock is completely just made up as he goes along.
That's very interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Because that's like having emotional stock in something. I don't know. That's weird.
But
to me, that's like putting yourself, like a part of yourself, on the page.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to fill that, you're going to discover it. And what the things you believe and your viewpoints on life are inevitably going to be discovered on that page. It's like journaling in a way, but in story form. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's all, I mean, bottom line is who's to say. I understand, and it's a good point, but
yeah, I don't know.
There's still
sure.
like subliminal things that I'm sure subconsciously you're gonna write, and things are gonna be characters, and the plot's gonna be influenced by your subconscious, especially if you're discovering the character's development as it goes along. Yeah, but I don't know. I could very easily, like, I wrote a poem before, in the viewpoint of a not a pedophile, like, no one who's, like, well, no, I guess a fucking pedophile. I wrote a poem from the perspective of a pedophile who made, like, dressed up as a clown and did kids' birthday parties so he could be around kids.
That's funny. And
getting off on the kid in his arms being uncomfortable. I don't identify with any of that. Clowns scare the shit out of me, actually. That's why I named him a clown in the poem. So I guess subliminally, yeah, clowns to me are bad and scary, and in the poem made the clown bad and scary. But I don't identify with a pedophile.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I'm not saying you identify with it. I'm saying your beliefs and your ideas impact what you write. And in this case, you just described to me the clown as something you think is scary, and that's why it came out on the page.
Mm-hmm.
But
did you just Steven Crowder me?
I don't think so. I think we were both saying the same thing.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a book is a different thing than a movie, and it's more explores ideas more by nature because it's so long-winded. Like, it almost can't not.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
I don't know, but what was I saying? That just, I think when people indulge in things that are harder, because it's harder to read a book than watch a movie, that are more, I don't know, it's more of a commitment. And you grow more from it. And I think that makes you more interesting as a person. Or even just, I don't know, doing something.
Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go for it.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I really have to pee.
You're a fucking asshole.
Thank you. I love you too.
This is what marriage is like. Da 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 da. Don't trip on that. So this podcast is sponsored by Brewery Omegang in Cooperstown, New York. This Three Philosophers Blueberry Coffee Beer. It is a blend of quadruple ale and Belgian Creek ale with cherries and blueberries and coffee. The regular Three Philosophers, I would say, is better. Cooperstown or Omegang, whoever you guys are. But it's still pretty good. I like it. Look at Baseball Hall of Fame's in Cooperstown. Never been there. That'd be interesting. I gotta get some interesting stuff. Maybe if I have cool stuff, people will want to come talk to me. What do you think? If I have interesting stuff on my table, will people want to come talk to me? I think they will. I think they definitely will. I'm hopeful. I really am. What kind of cool stuff am I going to get? I do have a deer antler. That makes me cool. I did shoot the deer myself. And it does taste good. And yes, the food chain is real. So, yeah. Talking to yourself is interesting. You just never know what you're going to say. You never really know what you're going to say anyway. Even when you're having a conversation, you have an idea, but you don't know the words. You don't know the words that are going to come out. It's very improvisational. But that's what makes it interesting. Because it is improvisational, Jesus. And people are going to make mistakes. People are going to say things they maybe shouldn't have said or didn't mean to say, or you got a carrot?
Yeah.
I think conversations are fun. I was just talking to myself. I think conversations are fun because you don't know exactly what you're going to say, like, before you say it. Like, you have ideas when you're having a conversation, you know? And you have thoughts, and you have comments on what the other person said and whatnot. But you don't know the exact words that you're going to say. They just kind of happen. You know? I think that's interesting. It's like a space where...
That's why I think humans are fascinating.
But, like, you just make mistakes all the time. Like, during our conversation, just saying a bunch of stupid things or the wrong things or not even what we meant. Just by nature of... Don't touch this.
I'm actually... My knee hit the wire.
I think that shit's interesting.
There's so much that happens. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. I just think you have cool slippers. Cover the water.
That was a lot. How long have we been going for?
An hour. What are you going to say?
I forgot. I'm not a good podcast guest today.
I disagree. I've enjoyed our conversation. Have you not?
No, I have. I've had fun with you.
We have fun.
Sometimes.
I still want to know what kind of cool things I'm going to get put on this table. I don't know. After we spend another what $2,500 with that credit card I got, we're gonna get like $750 in Chase Travel Rewards points. So we're gonna have the ability to go somewhere. Not that we don't otherwise, but we have a good excuse, I would say.
Well, even like flying to see someone, like a concert.
Yeah.
Airfare's taken care of.
That'd be the dopest.
Or the hotel.
The dopest. Maybe both. $250 one-way flights. You're fine. Nice shot. $250 one-way flights for each of us. $250 on a hotel. Or that we wouldn't.
Going for $250 round trip.
I don't know. What is round trip usually? Any place? 300, 4?
It totally depends on the place and the time of day.
Okay, well, 250. Where are we going?
Fucking like Philly. New York.
I feel like Colorado wasn't that expensive.
No. Colorado's not $250. There's no way.
What is that? What do you think?
3, 4. I don't know. Maybe I'm full of shit. I don't fly that often.
Nor do I. But yeah, we should use that. That'd be fun. I've always wanted to go to the Gorge in Washington.
The Gorge is in Washington?
Mm-hmm. Washington State. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere up there. I think Dave always plays like fucking 3 days up there. That'd be a wild experience. Just the setting is fucking gorgeous.
I want to go to Red Rocks.
Yeah, the place is cool too. Honestly, I want to go to those places more for the place than the show. Something I would rather that I want to go to for the show rather than the place. Do you follow? Is like a good stand-up. Like Eliza.
Where is the Beacon Theater?
Somewhere in New York, I don't know. Manhattan. But, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy a good concert. And it's good time and everything. But I think it's grown less and less. It's grown down? Decreased? I don't know. What's the opposite of growth?
Shrinking.
Shrink. It's shrunk on my priority ladder of things I want to like do or spend my time doing or money doing. You know, and I think it's because I really like exploring ideas and things, and like I'm curious. Like the intro to this fucking podcast is Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey saying, "Don't mind me, Mr. Quinn. I'm just a curious little rhino." And that's like for a reason. Like I very much feel like I embody that. And I don't know, like comics make you think more.
Yeah.
I think.
You know that Rowan has said that he doesn't do more podcasts, he doesn't do more shows because he wants time to think.
Yeah, I believe it. But he wants time to think, like he do other things and it's isolation tank or whatever. But you know, I've really enjoyed going to the comedy clubs we've went to.
I've really been to one.
I went to one in Boston. You were not there. That was fucking sick. But I really...
went to one in D.C.
We did. What other... Oh, we went to the Syracuse Funny Bone.
Yeah.
Where I want to go again. I would go there regularly. I really would.
I know.
I feel like that... I don't know. There's something special about it.
About the Funny Bone or stand-up?
Stand-up. There's something really raw about it
I was thinking.
that I'm very attracted to.
Probably the same reason why you like long-form unfiltered podcasts.
Yeah, probably. I started listening to a little bit of Eric Weinstein's podcast.
How is it?
Very interesting. You watched the one with Andrew Yang, right? He had one with... See, I'm not perfect either. He had one with Brian Callen, who's a friend of Rogan's, actually. Okay. He's also an MMA guy, and they grew up doing stand-up together, I think, in Boston, if I remember correctly.
Whew.
Must have sounded delightful. It was very interesting. I listened to about half of it. A little more. But, I don't know. Just two, like, very... dare I say wise thinkers.
I know what you mean.
Like, I think I saw in the description of that podcast, Brian Callen was referred to as some kind of a comedian. And he probably wrote that, or no, not comedian, philosopher. And like, I don't know. That's very interesting to me. Because I think ideas is how you move the world forward. And I think you need to have dialogue with enough space to explore and room to grow and explore, to be able to really understand something and further a thought in a constructive way, rather than trying to, quickly dismiss the other person's argument in a more hostile, emotional, subjective way, where you're just trying to impose upon the other person rather than
hear them, understand them.
Yeah. And like use that to build upon the idea that the two of you or the three of you, or however many people are discussing, are creating and furthering. Like,
it's a responsibility, some would argue.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it's the most important thing.
Do you remember Jordan Peterson's quote about two people engaged in, like, productive, real conversation?
No. What was the quote?
You're where you should be, with one foot in order and the other tentatively extended into chaos and the unknown.
Yeah, I do remember that quote now. It's bookmarked in that book right now.
That's one of the most... I mean, applying that to life and outside of just that context, it's, I think, to me, one of the most powerful things I've ever heard.
Agreed. I agree. Because that's what it is when you're exploring an idea like that and having a genuine, good, productive conversation, and is you're rooted in what you know, and you're exploring the unknown. Rooted in what you know is a funny word, though. Like you're confident in something.
Well, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
But are you always second guessing it? Like, are you always checking to make sure it's right, or it is something you do believe in? Like, let me think of a good example.
Are you implying if a person's questioning their beliefs regularly?
Yeah, because like you wanna, in order to determine if something is solid and can be hung on to and relied upon, you need to beat the shit out of it and test it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right. To make sure it's worth its weight. But you don't really ever stop testing it. You know? Like, you don't ever...
You could.
Well...
You could decide not to question or decide not to think about it.
Should you, though?
Oh, no, of course not, but people probably do.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should you? No. Always question.
That's what I think, too. So even though you're rooted in what you know and have one foot in order, like, it's what you know, but it's still... You still have one foot in chaos, and that could throw your other foot off. I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's a very profound quote. And I just think it's a testament to... I don't know. Seems like what the world fucking needs right now. You know? It's so...
I don't know about that, but...
Well, it's... Okay.
I think the world needs Jordan Peterson.
Yes. Yeah, that man can't die.
Do you know how he's doing? I haven't read anything.
I don't. To give you an example, the guy I had on last, Ryan Scott, number 19 ranked Ninja Warrior in the nation. In the world, through the National Ninja League, the NNL, because the actual TV show is like a reality TV show. You have to have a story to get on. So you have to be a good ninja. You have to have a story. So I described to him like, that'd be like if you could only get on the PGA Tour, like you had to be a good enough golfer, but your mom also had to have cancer or something like that. Like for you to get on the PGA Tour, like that would be asinine. And so that's crazy. So the TV show is more like a reality TV show, and they, stories and blah, 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 blah. It's not just about the competence. It's also about, the backstory and right. Because, it's on TV. They got to get ratings. They got to da, all that. So this guy's never been on the show. And I could tell he had some discontent with the system, and well, not with the system, but how the show is run, because it's very much the face of the entire sport. In that, like, somebody who is familiar with Ninja Warrior is like, or Ninja, like the sport, is probably just familiar with the show. Like, I don't know the statistics on that, but if I had to guess, 90% of people who are familiar with Ninja is just because of the TV show. So
you have no grounds on that, for the record.
I don't. No, I don't. But it's the biggest thing. Like, there's no... It's been on standard cable television for a long time. But the fact that it's that structured of a thing, and it's not really the best form of the thing, like to encourage, the best golfers. You have the PGA to encourage the best ninjas to emerge and like climb the ranks and prove themselves. You have the National Ninja League essentially, And this dude was really into talking about this because it's such a kind of backwards twisted thing. But I mean, I don't know how much opportunity he gets to have those discussions with people. Like, he sees people at events, obviously, in like the National Ninja League. It's like a tour. So he was just at an event in Buffalo and took third place in something and yada yada yada. But and I think the other two people who won are people who are on the show. Like, I don't know. It's important to have a format to talk about those kinds of things. And I don't know. I think it's easy to be a lazy thinker.
I agree.
It's really easy.
It's scary.
I just talked a lot, sorry.
It's scary that... Do you mind if we end this?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I mind. Keep talking.
I'm gonna go. No. Is it okay if we wrap it up?
Mm-hmm. Oh, were you about to say something, though?
I think it's important that people, like, knowing that being a lazy thinker is easier, knowing that and still choosing to not. I think that's important. Like, choosing the option of bettering yourself and putting in the work for the reward. Like, choosing the path of more resistance. Because groupthink is easy and it's terrifying.
It is.
But that was all.
Yeah. That's why I can't get on board with shows.
In some.
Same fucking thing. All right. Here we go.